Hi everyone! Today I'll be showing you how to make this super cute elf on the shelf skirt. It's really easy and simple to do, and you only need a few things, and you can use whatever fabric you want, but as you can see I use like a cute Christmassy plaid pattern for this skirt. But yeah, it's just a really cute, simple skirt, and I'll be showing you how to make that in today's video. Anyways, if you do enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Make sure to watch until the end to see some funny cat bloopers, because while I was filming this, my cat tried to interrupt quite a few times, so I have them at the end of the video if you want to watch them, because they are quite funny. Anyways, let's get started with the video. The things you will need are an elf on the shelf, some fabric, you can choose whatever pattern you'd like, some elastic, some sewing thread and a sewing needle, a pen, a ruler, and a paper clip. And also, these are optional, but some little clips, they just help to hold the fabric in place while we're sewing, and also some scissors. Now the next thing we need to do is find out how big we want the waistband to be. So you want to get your elf on the shelf and get your elastic and put the elastic where you want the waistband to sit, and then you want to hold it in place with your thumb as you wrap it around your elf. And then when you reach the point that you started from, you want to hold it in place and kind of overlap the elastic around itself so that there's about 1 centimeter overlapping, and you want to grab a pen and just do a little line where you want to cut it. So you want to have about 1 centimeter overlapping on the elastic, and then use a pen to mark that, like so. As you can see, this is how I did it. And then we take that off. That is how big your waistband will need to be. And so you just need to cut that, and then that'll be the waistband. So as you can see, I just cut it. You want to try to cut it directly on the line, so as best as you can. And don't worry if the line is still there, because you won't be able to see it, because this is going to be hidden by the skirt. So don't worry if the line is still on the elastic. And now as you can see, it fits our elf on the shelf, which is a little bit extra, which is good because we're going to need that to sew the waistband at the end so that it fits properly. So next you want to get your fabric and your elastic, and you want the fabric to be facing inside out. And with your elastic, you want to make sure the fabric is as long as, let's say you want it to be 3 times the length of your elastic. So as you can see, I can put my elastic on this fabric about 3 times. So you want it to be 3 to 4 times. You want it to be 3 to 4 times the length of your elastic for it to be long enough. You want to basically fold the top half over by about 1/2 inch, like I am doing here, as you can see. And then go ahead and grab a little clip and clip it in place so that it doesn't move around. So you want to grab a pen and then just mark the spot where the fabric touches itself right there, as you can see, as I'm doing right there. And that is how much fabric we need to leave for the waistband. So now we know how much we need to leave for the waistband, so we can move on to how long we want the skirt to be. So to find out how long we want the skirt to be, you want to get your elf on the shelf and just put your elf on the shelf on top of the fabric where you want the waistband to be. So pretend that that is the waistband, and we want the waistband to be about right there. And then I want the skirt to be about right there, I'd say. So you want to go ahead and just draw a line where you want the skirt, how long you want it to be. So as you can see now, we have 2 lines. One of them is for the waistband and one of them is for how long the skirt is going to be. As you can see, we made 2 lines. From the bottom line, you want to just cut a straight line from the bottom line. So as you can see, you just want to go ahead and just cut it out. And this is what it should look like once it's cut out. So now from the line that you made for the waistband, you want to go ahead and fold the top of the fabric over to that line again like we did earlier. And you want to just clip it in place, so just go along and fold it over and clip it in place. You want it all to be even like this. So now you might be wondering why we made the waistband about 1/2 inch even though the elastic is way smaller than that. Well, that's because we need to be able to fit the elastic through, but we also need to sew along the edge, so we need to leave a little bit of room for that. And we also need to be able to fit the paper clip through, and the paper clip takes up a little bit more space than the elastic, so you need to keep in mind that we need to sew along the edge, and we still need to be able to fit the paper clip through. So now we're on to threading our sewing needle. So you want to grab your thread, and you basically want to be able to fold the thread in half and still have it be about as long as your fabric. That's a good, I think, length to have. It doesn't really get too knotted easily, but it also can do a decent amount of the length of the fabric, if that makes sense. So you want, as you see in the video, you want it to be about that long. You can make it shorter or longer if you want. So you just go ahead and cut that, and then you want to thread the needle. So you just want to grab one point of the thread and just put it through the hole of the sewing needle, like so. And then you want to just make it even, like I did. And so now to make the knot at the end, you want to go ahead, wrap it around. So you want to start wrapping it around your finger, and then you want to make it sort of like an X. So you want to just wrap it like I am. So wrap it, and then kind of make it into like an X shape, almost like that. And then you want to grab your thumb and just kind of roll it off your finger like so. And then it should make this sort of shape. Just kind of pull on it, like just kind of, you can kind of drag it down, you can just pull on it, and it should make a pretty big knot. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be pretty because you won't end up seeing it. So now we're on to the sewing. So once you've threaded your sewing needle, you want to make sure your fabric looks like this. And you basically want to put your sewing needle through the fabric right about here, probably about like half a centimeter away from the edges, like so. As you can see, as I pull it through, you can probably see better, right about there in the fabric. So pretty close to the edge, but not too close. So as you can see where that knot is, that's a bit about where you want to put the sewing needle through. And then you want to flip it over and then put it about half a centimeter away from your previous stitch, and it should come through about there in the fabric. And as you can see, it's going to look like this, and you want to pull it slowly so it doesn't get knotted. So it should look something like that. So basically you should do a basic stitch down the fabric. So as you can see, it looks like that. I'll show you again. So you want to put it again about half a centimeter away from your previous stitch. Just put it through the fabric on that side and then pull it through. And then when you pull it through, you'll be on the other side. And then on the other side, you're going to want to, so see how it made a stitch right there? So then once you go back to the other side, you want to basically put it through the fabric another half a centimeter away. And basically what we're doing here is we are trying to secure both layers of fabric so that it makes a little tube that we can put the elastic through. And so you just want to make sure that your sewing needle is going through both layers of the fabric, and it's not too close to the edge, but it's also not like super far away from the edge. So again, half a centimeter is a pretty good measurement to go by for this. Basically, you just want to do that all the way down the fabric. And when you get too close to the clip where you can't sew anymore, you can just go ahead and remove the clip. So if your thread gets to be about this short, you want to stop sewing where you are. So for example, I was close to the end, but not quite there yet. But anyways, we want to tie a knot. So you want to get your thread, you want to make sure the wrong side is facing up. You want to go through a previous stitch like that. And then you want to go around and through the loop like I did on the video, as you can see. And then this will kind of create like a new stitch almost. But you want to go through the original stitch that you went through the first time. So you want to go through there, through that stitch. So not that stitch, but the original one. So you want to go through that stitch. And then you want to go around and through the loop. And this just creates a knot and it secures the thread in place so it won't unravel. I like to do this about 2 to 3 times. But you want to make sure you're doing this on the back side, like the wrong side facing up, like I am, so that you won't be able to see the knot. But then once you're done with that, you can just go ahead and cut it. And you want to leave about 1 centimeter of thread so that it doesn't come undone. now I can just continue on sewing with the same method as before. And if you haven't run out of thread, then you can just skip the last step and continue on sewing. So once you're all done sewing, as you can see, it should look something like this. As you can see, there's stitches all the way down. So now I've created like a little tube for the elastic to go through. So I like to rotate it so that it is facing me. And then you want to just take your thread and just do the same thing as before. Just put your sewing needle through the latest stitch that you did, like so. And you gotta be careful that you don't go through the fabric, that you're just going through the latest, like just through the stitch. And then you create a loop and just go around and through the loop like I did. And then you want to do that again 2 to 3 times, like so. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it a second time. You go through the stitch, and then you go around the loop and into the loop. And this will create a knot to secure it so that it won't come undone. And they can go ahead and cut the thread, and again leave a centimeter of thread so that it doesn't come unraveled. Now moving on to the next step, you want to get your elastic along with the paper clip and also just a little clip. And what we are going to do is we are going to put the elastic through the waistband. So first you want to get a paper clip, and you see a little edge, a little rounded edge. You want to put the elastic through it and then just tie just a basic knot. You want it to be tight enough so it doesn't become unraveled, but you also don't want it to be too tight to the point where you can't unravel it, because we're going to need to unravel it at the end. But you just want to tie a knot around the paper clip like that so that the elastic stays secured to the paper clip. And so it should look something like this, as you can see. And then you want to kind of hold it like this. You want to put the elastic so that it's kind of facing forward, and then go ahead and grab the fabric, and you see a little tube right there that we made. You want to go ahead and put the paper clip in like that, and then you just want the paper clip to be in there, and just leave the elastic out for now. Then grab the little clip and put it at the end, and so the other end of the elastic will not get pulled into the tube. So you want to kind of hold the paper clip on the inside of the fabric and then kind of push the fabric onto the paper clip like so, and then kind of grab the fabric as you're doing that. So just do that until it fills up, so you can't put any more, and then kind of lightly kind of pull the fabric from the paper clip onto the elastic, and you kind of want to pull on the top to do this. So as you can see, we're going to put the fabric onto the paper clip, and then we're going to pull the fabric onto the elastic. And then basically going to repeat this for the whole skirt. So again, we're going to push the fabric onto the paper clip, and then we're going to push it onto the elastic. And you want to do this for the whole skirt. So as you can see, you're going to put it on the paper clip, and then you want to push it onto the elastic. Again, be careful so you don't unravel the elastic knot yet. And then once it gets to the end, you can just pull the paper clip out, and then you want to hold the elastic. And now this is where we want to unravel the elastic. So I just kind of pulled at it until it became unraveled. You want to have a firm grip on that elastic so that it doesn't go back into the tube. So as you can see now, we have that, and then we want to get the other side of the elastic, and we want to make sure you have a firm grip on it, and then you can take the clip off, because you want to make sure that these two pieces of elastic don't go back into like the tube, because then it will just all kind of become like how it was before. And so then you want to take these two pieces of elastic, and you want to kind of put them on top of one another so that they're kind of, you know, like facing the same way. And then you want to grab a clip and kind of put the corner on it, like on the elastic like that, just to hold it and make sure it doesn't go back into the skirt. But you also want to leave some room so that we can do the sewing part next. So next you want to thread the sewing needle the same way as we did before, and then with these two pieces of elastic, we basically want to sew the top of it together. And now that's why we left the extra like centimeter of it earlier. So you just want to put the sewing needle through. It might be a little bit tricky, so just kind of be careful. And then you want to pull it through, and you want to flip it to the other side, and then put it through again. And so you're basically going to repeat this just so we can attach these two pieces of elastic together. And you want to do it like probably 10 times, to be honest, so that it doesn't unravel and so that it's secure. So you want to pull it through, and then flip it over again and push it through again. So basically you're pushing it through one side, then flipping it over, and then pushing it through that side again. just so that we can sew these two pieces of elastic together. And it does not have to look pretty because you're not going to be able to see this once we are finished with the skirt. So don't worry if it looks kind of like messy because you won't be able to see it once the skirt is done. So once you've done that around 5 to 10 times, it is time to tie the knot. So you want to put your sewing needle through one of your previous stitches, make a loop, and then go around and through the loop just like we did earlier to create a knot. You want to do that again 2 to 3 times. So just go through one of the little stitches that we made, pull a sewing needle through, and it should make a loop, and then you go around and go through the loop, and again, it's just going to secure it so it stays in place. And then just go ahead and trim it and leave about 1 centimeter of thread so that it doesn't unravel. And now you can take the clip off of the elastic, and as you should see, it should be secure. You want to pull on it a few times just lightly like this, just to check that it is fully secured, and they can just go ahead and just kind of move the fabric along the elastic. And now it is really starting to look like a skirt. Now, technically you could stop here and just leave the back like this. I mean, if you're just going to put on your elf on the shelf, you might not really see the back of the skirt that much, but I do recommend just doing the next step anyways, just because I feel like it just looks nicer with it. Anyways, you want to go ahead and thread your sewing needle just like we did before. Then you want to put your sewing needle through the top of one of the sides of the waistband. So as you can see, I'm going kind of into the waistband and through so that will hide the knot. And you might go to the other side, go into the waistband and kind of push through upwards like that. So this is going to join the two sides together so that there's not a big gap at the back. And then you want to go back to the other side, again into the waistband, and put your sewing needle through. And you also want to make sure that you are make sure to pull to tighten the thread as you go. So once you've done the other side, you can go back to, basically want to keep repeating this on each side. So go to the other side again, go into the waistband, push it through like this, and then pull it like that. And then you want to repeat that again on the other side, the waistband. And you basically want to keep doing that until the waistband is all done. And then once you're all done with the waistband, you can just go down to the skirt and just push it through one of the sides like I am on the video, and then pull it through. And then you can go to the other side and just do the same thing. So basically you're just going to one side, push sewing the needle through upwards, and then go to the other side and pushing the sewing needle through upwards, just to basically sew these two pieces of fabric together so that it is closed at the back. So you just want to go ahead and repeat this all the way down until you reach the bottom. So once you're all done sewing the skirt, it should look something like this. Anyways, now what we want to do is we want to tie a knot. Before we do that, we want to push the thread downwards into the skirt. So you want to push the sewing needle right near where your last stitch was, so like that. And then your sewing thread will be underneath the skirt, and you want to find one of the last stitches that you did. So right kind of where you join the two pieces of fabric around there, you want to find one of those stitches, and then just pull the needle through. It should make a loop, and then go around that loop and into it to create a knot. And again, you want to do that a few times so that it is all secure. And if you're having a little bit of trouble finding a seam, you can kind of lightly pull on the two sides of the fabric until you kind of see a little seam, but then you want to make sure to tighten it again before you go and tie a knot at the seam. Otherwise the stitching will be a little bit loose and it just won't be as secure. So just looks something like this. Once you're all done, you can just go ahead and just trim the sewing thread. Anyways, now the skirt is finished. So this is what the back of the skirt looks like. As you can see, the two sides of the fabric have been sewn together, so there's no longer a gap in the back. So yeah, here's the skirt. In my opinion, it's a super cute and simple skirt for your elf on the shelf. Anyways, now let's try it on our elf on the shelf. And this is what it looks like. Again, it's super cute And it's definitely a really fun DIY project to do during the holidays. And again, you can use whatever fabric you want, so you can definitely customize it to your liking. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and also make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I try my best to respond to all comments. Anyway, since you watched to the end of the video, here are some really cute and funny cat bloopers of my cat, because while I was trying to film this video, he kept trying to interrupt, so.